Hello everyone. This is RM Ananya Vasudev, working as a district disaster management professional, Kodagu District, Government of Karnataka. I have done my MSc in geology. Today, October 13th, is the Disaster Risk Reduction Day, celebrated throughout the globe. Now, what is the need of it, and what is a disaster? And We all know that we are facing COVID. So, disaster is not restricted to one particular field or one particular place. It is spread throughout the globe. Now, what is a disaster? So, disaster is a impact of a hazard. So there are many hazardous activities, like it might be a landslide, it might be an earthquake, flood, massive rainfall, cyclone, or health related. It might be some diseases like COVID-19, or if you go to industrial disasters, industrial accidents, nuclear disasters, anything. So each and every hazard has an impact. So, what is the impact of a hazard? Usually, it is death or loss of property, loss of lives or loss of property. So, any impact of a hazard, we call it as a disaster. So, who wants a disaster? Nobody wants a disaster. So, everyone wants to safeguard themselves from the disasters. Now, what do you mean by disaster risk reduction? So some of the disasters we can avoid, some of the disasters we cannot avoid, but we should be aware. So if we are aware, we know what is the risk of one particular disaster, and I know how can I safeguard myself. So this is the overall motto of disaster risk reduction. So disaster risk reduction has multiple levels, one from an individual level, one from the government or administrative level. These are the things which we need to deal in our day-to-day activities. In India, we have Disaster Management Act 2005, which has been constituted in our Constitution of India. So we have National Disaster Management Authority, and we have the guidelines regarding DRR, and we also have a State Disaster Management Authority, and at district level we have District Disaster Management Authority. This is the total administrative setup with respect to disasters. So what these authorities are going to do? So here we are going to identify what might be the possibility of the disaster in one particular area. For example, in as a district disaster management professional, so in my district, which are the disasters? So we have landslides, we have floods, we have cyclone, we have heavy rainfall, we have some of the industrial disasters, so and road accidents or anything it might be. So these kind of disasters. Now, with respect to these disasters, we have to map. What is a map? Hazard risk vulnerability assessment. So which are the most hazardous areas? So I need to concentrate. So at multiple levels, multiple officers, officials, and disaster management professionals, we are going to plan, we are going to identify those vulnerable areas, and in that areas we are going to give more educational programs, awareness activities, or some scientific studies. These things will be conducted. So later on, we can plan ourselves. Suppose if there is a disaster, how to evacuate people, evacuation plan, all these things. So planning is very much important in a disaster risk reduction. And also because of planning, we can implement, we can evacuate, and we can also go for some mitigation measure. Otherwise, what will happen? I don't have a plan, there is a disaster. So there will be multiple disasters. It is not only one particular place. So at a time, there might be multiple landslides. I had to coordinate with multiple teams. I had to send my police department or NDRF or anything, which are the agency we have here. So we need to tackle. We need to tackle with manpower. We need to tackle with our strength. We need to tackle with our equipments. So everything it has to be planned. So in disaster reduction, risk reduction, we need to have a proper planning system. Now, coming to India, one good thing is we have a specialized force for handling these disasters, that is NDRF, National Disaster Response Force. throughout the globe, a dedicated force for at a dedicated force for handling the disasters is only in India. In other countries, what is going to happen is either police department or army or air force or any other armed forces, they are going to handle it. But we have a dedicated force called as NDRF. So in one way, it is a very good development with respect to our country. Usually, this force is derived from paramilitary force. The parent battalion will be either CRPF, BSF, or any other paramilitary force. So they have a separate training with respect to handling any kind of disasters, including COVID-19. They are handling. So it's totally a deputational force which we have in India. Similarly, in many states there are SDRF, State Disaster Response Force, which have been drawn under the guidelines of NDRF. So this is the broad concept of disaster management, how we are handling in with respect to our country, disaster risk reduction. Most of the disasters can be averted, especially with respect to an observation by an individual. In India, we are losing the observation skills. So, for example, I'm going to a bus stand. I'm waiting for my bus. I have another 30 minutes. I'm just chatting in my WhatsApp, Facebook. I'm browsing something in the internet, everything. But there is a person who has kept a kit bag, which is becoming suspicious. I'm not going to notice it. I have 30 minutes of time. I don't have any other major work. I'm just waiting for the bus. Just because I'm getting bored, I'm just using the internet, everything. But I'm failing to observe what is happening in and around myself in the surrounding area, in the vicinity. So it might be an explosive, right? So we need to have a proper observation system as an individual responsibility when we have to handle these disasters. So I'm just given very simple example. Coming to landslides. So even landslides, in most of the time, they give the hints. What exactly happens is there might be a tensional crack which has been developed on the top of the hill due to an impact of a rainfall. Or landslide, it is an action of gravity, and rainfall acts as a catalyst. So there might be a tensional crack. Suppose if I can identify that tensional crack on a top of a hill, it is very easier for me to analyze. I can have at least some time to conduct some geological studies in that particular area and identify the behavior of the mass. So if I'm not able to identify those tensional cracks, then somewhere I'm going to fail. And tensional cracks is not a mandatory thing in each and every landslides. There is a possibility that suddenly in the bore wells there might be a brownish color of water. So what usually a common people do is like they see the color of the water, they say the water is mixed with mud, so I can't use. Let me go to another bore well and let me get a can of water. Now the thing is, his or her main intention is he or she wants a can of water for her day-to-day activities. But here, either the administrative staff or the person himself or herself is unable to identify, or he is not even thinking why this has turned brown in color, why the water has turned brown in color in a bore well or in a open well. So these are some of the signatures which we get during a landslide. Suppose if these kind of symptoms are there, there is a possibility that in the near future there might be a landslide. And third thing is people do go for construction of houses in a very greater slope area, like 70 degrees, 65 degrees slope. So it's a very steep. So their construction of houses is not at all recommended, but still from many years they are going to construct. For example, you can have Shimla. It's in a worst condition. So such kind of houses or any developmental activities with respect to construction can be avoided in greater slopey terrains. So this is one of the major step of disaster risk reduction with respect to landslides. And coming to flood, what do you mean by flood? Flood is nothing but overflow of a river, and we have marked certain areas up to 2 kilometers of areas in and around the stream as flood plain. But still we are having all the activities. There are major cities, major industrial activities, agricultural activities, or residential constructions in the floodplain area itself. Then we are blaming it on nature. Now, how it is good to blame the nature when the river is overflowing on a floodplain itself. So, to be frank, we have encroached those floodplain area and we have constructed our lives. Coming to the coastal areas, sea, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean. See, there are all most of the metropolitan cities are directly on the coastal areas itself. The Mumbai is the best example. They have filled certain part of the areas by doing the land filling, and then they have constructed. So this is like we are totally going against the nature. So nature has its own way. So something meddling with nature or going against the natural process is going to lead a major natural disasters. This is one of the most important thing which we need to understand. And coming to above all these activities, we also know about the global warming, climate change. So, why the number of landslides are increasing? In most of the case studies, especially in Karnataka, landslides are mainly triggered due to heavy rainfall. Why there is a heavy rainfall? It is not the uniform distribution is being affected of the rainfall. We are having a greater intensity of the rainfall, but the number of rainy days is becoming very less. For example, a rainfall which we were expecting in an entire month is just falling in 2 to 3 days. So in the recent landslide which happened in Talakaveri of Kodagu district, on a single day, the rainfall was recorded to 437 mm. So it was a hilly terrain, and in 2019 also there was a crack developed due to the previous landslide. So the water seeps in, and we have the type of soil is clay. So what the property of the clay is, it has the highest porosity, it can absorb more water, but it will not release the water. And coming to its physical properties, clay tends to be plastic when it comes in contact with water. Just imagine you are dipping a biscuit in a cup of water. What will happen? The same thing happens. The biscuit will just become like a paste, and it just starts slipping down. The same thing happens with respect to clay. So there are multiple phenomena. We cannot blame just rainfall. The same intensity of rainfall, if it was on a flat land or some plain areas, it was quite different. Or if it was on black soil or red soil area, it was quite different. But there are multiple factors. So here it might be the clay, and we have very heavy rainfall, and there are some residential places. So these are the things, because, so for example, a landslide just might be an event. So we had around 12 landslides. So the landslides occurred. So we are going to clear the roads. We are going to remove the debris. Finish. It will become just an event. Suppose if there is a loss of lives, then we are going to call it as a disaster. So disaster risk reduction starts from an individual person, because there are many places in our country where we don't have mobile connectivity, or getting an information at that particular place might be very difficult. So information is one of the most important thing. We need to pass on the informations the moment we analyze it, the moment we notice some activity which is quite abnormal with respect to the earth, we need to uh, immediately inform the authorities. But we just see, okay, some crack is there, yeah, okay, fine, we are just moving to our own works. So we are just we are not bothered actually, because we don't even know that we need to be bothered. Because if as a geologist, I know if there is a tensional crack, if there is a crack on the mountain, so that might be a landslide. So just because of that, I am giving more importance to it. But as a common public, he or she might not understand why there is a crack, and most of the time they don't even know that to whom to contact. So this is one of the most important thing. So in every district, 1077, it is a district emergency operations center control room. Immediately bring to call to this number and bring it to the notice of the district. So concerned officials, concerned disaster management professionals, they will visit the place and they will identify the hazard, what kind of the hazard, and is it very vulnerable? Is there any need of evacuation? All these things will be planned. So this is just with respect to landslide and more focusing on these natural disasters because throughout the globe we are facing these natural disasters in a very massive way. So handling any disaster starts from the individual and just with the coordination and cooperation with the administrative officials or government. So I need to have, for example, there is a landslide. So how should there should be a plan or mapping system in my mind. So if I have to evacuate, where should I evacuate? Which is the safe place? So safe place should be marked. Suppose if there might be some elderly people with some comorbidities. Now it's COVID-19, so social distancing is also important. Small kids will be there. So how many people should be evacuated? Where I need to send? Is there any requirement of hospitalization? So medical team should be there. COVID test should be conducted on the spot. Then what about the ration, uh, food, everything? Those things have to be arranged. Sanitization is mostly affected in these relief camps, so we need to give much importance with respect to sanitization too. So all these things, it is a club together. We need to handle the disaster. It is not just what we watch on the news channels or what we read in the newspapers. There was a landslide, people have been evacuated, but evacuated means everything, right from their uh, living style should not be affected. And psychosocial care is also one of the most important thing because the person has lost his house, lost his property, lost his family. He is totally affected, and he is so totally psychologically affected. We need to instill more courage. We need to help him in building his own confidence. It is not just giving an ex gratia relief, and people also should not be very much happy with respect to this relief amount, or even the government officials too, because relief amount is just a temporary thing. It is just we cannot assess his pain with the money what we are giving or what he is taking. So most common thing is like we also see, so, sir, we have lost the house, just give me the relief amount. So even as administrators, if a person has, if an administrator has given the relief money, the relief amount to the next to the kin of the family, he is a very good officer, and otherwise he is a very bad officer. So this kind of thought system is very much to be, it has to be changed. It has to be changed because that itself is affecting us with respect to disaster risk reduction. Because the main, sometimes what will happen when we are handling this multiple disasters, the main aim with the focus will be shifted just to give the ex gratia relief rather than understanding or taking some mitigation measure with respect to some hazard risk vulnerability. So these are the things which are mainly to be discussed with respect to disaster risk reduction and disaster management. See, there are multiple disasters, and everything is an individual subject, and we need to talk with the subject experts. We need to understand. It has to be scientifically studied. Each and every disaster should be scientifically studied. Suppose landslides, flood, or climate related climatic disasters, this can be studied with respect to geologists or environmental science experts. Okay, so that is one way. With respect to COVID-19, he or she should be a medicinal microbiologist or a doctor or a researcher who is from the medical background. So we don't know what kind of disasters we are going to receive in near future, but we need to have a dedicated system, dedicated plan. So plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. So on failed, one plan might fail. There should be some other plan. I might not get much time to plan during the time of disasters. To be frank, we don't get any single second to plan on spot. Before the disaster occurs, few months earlier itself, we need to have the plan. Which are the roadblocks? Which are the possible routes? Which might be the evacuation route? all these things. Suppose if there is a tree which is going to fall on that evacuation route, who is going to clear it, how much time, everything should be have a plan. We should conduct the mock drills, awareness program, educational activities, everything. So when both common public and the administrators and we are ready with this, when we are aware of the possible disasters, so then it is easier for us to handle the disaster. So to have more knowledge about this disaster, we have United Nations disaster risk reduction programs, we have Sendai framework. These materials I don't go into much depth because of time restraints, and you can just Google it out. So everything the can be handled, especially the disasters can be handled in a scientific way, because ultimately we have to give a logical ending for one particular disaster, at least for one season. So for example, if you talk about COVID-19, we don't know the life of the virus. So some say it is for few hours, some say it is for 1 month, some say it's for 2 to 3 days. Still, it is an R&D. So disasters require R&D, research and development. So development of not disasters, but some systems which can avert disasters. With respect to some natural disasters, we have early warning systems. We have multiple agencies. We have coastal warning systems. We have cyclone warning systems. We even in North India, certain institutions and organizations, they are coming up with one particular device which can warn even landslides also. One particular project is just working based on using mobile signals for this, and one organization it is working based on the kinematic GPS. So these things, research activity is a very must for disaster risk reduction. So ultimately, if anyone is wants to choose a career in disaster management, there is a wide scope with respect to research activities, because we can take any subjects. Very recently, 2 days back, I got to know there is one system. Recently there was an earthquake somewhere in Maharashtra. It was recorded around 8:40 minutes earlier. They had detected it. They had detected this earthquake 840 minutes earlier. So again, as it is on R&D, they cannot just directly say, yeah, there will be earthquake at this particular area. Once they get an approval, once they have that confidence itself, then only they can propose and then we can implement it. Otherwise, it sometimes it will just grow a panic moment in the mind of the general public. So we need not be afraid, but we need to be aware with respect to disaster risk reduction. So for people who wants to take this, choose disaster management as their career, one thing is you have research activities, and there is a requirement of disaster management professional or district disaster management officers at each districts. So that recruitment will be there, and the main hindrance is in India, research is not considered as a job. So ultimately, after a few years, you want to settle in your life. So you should have a job. So in that case, if research is considered as a job, then there is a wide scope in disaster management. Apart from that, it is not like any other job. To be frank, we cannot call it as a job. Disaster management requires lots of self motivation. Disaster management requires 24 into 7 your presence. You cannot have much time with your family. You can be called at any time. So it is not like 10 to 5 job, or the resources will be very less. It depends on the district where you have been posted, or it might be from your company also. If you are studying in some hilly terrain, you cannot expect much holidays or the kind of city environment on a hilly terrain. You need to be camped there for months together or years together. So you need to adjust to a lot many things. So disaster management is not just a job, but it is a way of life. If you consider disaster management is a way of life, and if you have more self confidence, then question yourself, Do you have it in you? So if your answer is yes, then okay, choose disaster management as your career. Otherwise, switch to some other careers, because it is not just like a this is a government job, yeah, my life is settled. No, it is not like that. Disaster management takes more toll, and there is a risk to your life also, and you are doing something to the nation. There is a contribution from your end to the nation and the citizens of India. In that case, disaster management is the best opportunity for you to have work. So let's hope this disaster risk reduction we focus more in order to prevent the disasters, and let's be more responsible in our day-to-day activities, right from anything. So it is not only for example, just a very simple thing. The government, everyone, we are asking to wear mask. Now, don't ask me why I'm not wearing mask, because I'm only one person in the room. So in when we are in the public environment, when we are going to market, we need to sanitize, we need to wear mask, but most of the time we are not wearing. That is why the government is forced to fix a fine amount. Okay, even nobody wants it. No, none of the government officials wants to fine a person for just not to covering his face. So at least he or she needs to cover his face either from dupatta or some kerchief. Even if they can't afford mask, something we need to cover, especially when we are in the public areas. So these are the things. So at least if people can cooperate with the administrators or administration in this way, it will be very much helpful in preventing more disasters. At least 2020, we have seen more deaths. We have seen the heights of the disasters too. We have handled. Hope so we will be more responsible, and we will work together uh, in reducing the risks with respect to disasters. So uh, I was a faculty, I was a lecturer for 3.5 years in various organizations at Government Science College Bangalore and NITK Surathkal. And since November 2019, I am working as a district disaster management professional, and I have been posted to Kodagu district uh, of Karnataka. So earlier, when I was teaching a geology, and I was especially involved in many landslide studies. So even in North India, even Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, I had studied some of the landslide areas. So how to mitigate it and where we are failing. So as a researcher, I had worked for 3.5 years with respect to landslides and flood. But since 2019, I got a very great opportunity to work with respect to the disaster. As a disaster management professional, it is a very great opportunity for me to handle disasters, at least at the district level, in association with many agencies at the district levels and officers under the guidance of our district disaster management authority, who is the deputy commissioner. So it was November, and within few months, I had an opportunity to handle this COVID-19, which was a global disaster. So establishment of containment zones, mapping, establishing the checkposts during the lockdown, coordinating with the health department, police department, and addressing some of the like during the lockdown, we can't even allow the people or small kids to play on ground. So we were forcing them to get inside, get inside, get inside. We were making more announcements and all. But somewhere when there was a 5-year-old kid or 4-year-old kid who was having some cricket set and wanted to play the cricket, I was just telling that, yeah, uh, after the lockdown, I will also come. Let us play together. And we had to convince them, and we had to send it. So it was a very great opportunity. And till May, we had only 3 cases. Where I mean, in many other districts, it had crossed 100. So we had only 3 cases in the district until uh, the lockdown ended. Once there was a unlocking system, there were more. As Kodagu is a tourist place, more tourists and everyone they started coming. Which we cannot just lock down a country for years together. So on lockdown is very much required. But again, my safety, my life is my responsibility. So if people are capable enough to understand it, it is the best thing what they can contribute to the society. So later on in the month of, as usual, Coorg is prone to landslides and floods during the monsoon. We had our NDRF team pre-deployment. So almost 15-20 days we were on field visits of the. I had done the hazard works, hazard vulnerability risk assessment. So where the possibility of landslides might occur. And in my purview, Talakaveri was one place I was quite sure that this time there will be a major landslide. So I had an opportunity to handle that landslide also. But even though we convinced, there were two houses. So one family, they didn't oblige for the evacuation, and unfortunately, they were the casualties because of this landslide. So it's a very sad moment, because in spite of knowing that there will be a landslide, somewhere they couldn't be saved. So again, in that search operations, we had to conduct morning till evening. You have to. There was a lot of rain per day, around 100 mm, 120 mm. This kind of rainfall. Morning 7:30 to evening 6:30. We need to just wet ourselves in the rain, and again the next day. So 10 to 15 days we had that operation, and we also had a uh, some of the flood affected areas in our district. So it had to be coordinated. So rescue operations. And before that, what we did was, because of the pre-deployment of NDRF, we had a joint training exercise with respect to flood and landslide activities, along with police department, fire and emergency services. And our district is quite unique. Like, all the departments will become one. There is no, like, this is DC office, yeah, this is Jilla Panchayat office, yeah, that is police department. No, there is no such kind of bifurcations itself. To be frank, I need to thank the 2018 disaster, which made all the departments work together, and it was like a family for us. So nobody will say no. If I require some data with respect to the flood affected, so nobody says no, that this is not my job, this is his job. No, such kind of answers till today, till date, uh, nobody has answered or I have listened to it. So this is the, we all work together like a family with respect to handling the disasters. So this is one of the, and every disaster is a learning process. We learn something, one or the other lessons will be there. Uh, in each and every disasters. So with that learning itself, we can plan much more effectively in handling the further disasters. And I really thank Paryavaran Dakshata Mandal for giving me an opportunity to speak on the lines of disaster risk reduction on this day. Thank you.